This one is for my, can you make more recipes without actual onions and garlic folks, which is really hard for me. Without it, I honestly feel like I did something wrong. Like I'm going to get a knock at the door from some law enforcement officials whose initials I haven't heard of before. Sir Dognard, you're coming with us. And to my surprise, you don't even miss it. This tastes really good. It's delicious, it's simple, it's one pot, and it's like this all-inclusive meal prep goodness. We're starting off making a quick cheese sauce. This is listed on my website as a vegan queso. I have a few plant-based cheese dips. This one is a bit more light in color and buttery in flavor. Okay, I know it doesn't quite look like it from what you just watched. That's because I added a little bit of turmeric in there. Complete accident. Sometimes I just get a little turmeric crazy. We use raw cashews to achieve that smooth texture. And if you're allergic, you could use butter beans as a seamless replacement. Maybe even as a better replacement. Hence the butter association within the name. If you do use cashews and you don't have a high-speed blender, try soaking the cashews overnight. This is gonna help you achieve a really smooth texture. The sauce itself, it could seem like a bit spicier to kiddos or those sensitive to heat. In that case, try using like half the adobo chili or just a little bit of the sauce. And this should add a good dimension of flavor without that, fiery punch. Also, if you wanna skip the plant-based butter, you could either use coconut cream or nothing. and you'll still get a really good taste. It would be a bit further from a queso knockoff though. I would say maybe more of like a sharp cheese blend knockoff at that point. While the meal is pretty straightforward, there are some key things you can do to really bring this meal to like another quality level. When sauteing the potatoes here, try to use an oil that has a little bit of flavor. Since we're not stir frying anything, there's no need to be concerned about like a high heat factor. Sweet potatoes are great, especially since we're going to caramelize these prior to adding in the rest of the ingredients. Caramelizing is going to help bring out the natural sugars in them. This is why we're gonna get them in the pot first so we can get some charring and some browning on the edges prior to steaming them to cook it all the way through. For me, different textures really cater to like a good mouthfeel. This is why I'm cooking the potatoes right to that point where you can poke a fork through. Nothing more, nothing less. And this is gonna help that potato stand out amongst the rest of the ingredients. When you chew, that is. Obviously it's orange, so it's kind of hard to miss in the dish. Black beans or pinto beans are my fave when I'm going like more Southwest style on a dish. Kind of notice I did this. It's not a dance or nothing that has anything to do with the Southwest. Just caught a vibe, I guess. Although if you're swapping the beans for whatever you have in the pantry, I'm sure you won't steer yourself too wrong, hopefully. Another thing I really like about this dish is that it gives another perspective to repurposing cooked rice. I've often found that cooked rice is typically repurposed in a stir fry or as its original purpose, just as a side. And with this meal, whether it's brown rice, white rice, wild rice, they all can be mixed in, creating this conglomerate deliciousness. My last tip, if you wanted to speed this entire thing up and pretty much use just less ingredients, you could just do like a store-bought plant cheese, and after you make the entire dish, sprinkle that right on top, cover it, and allow it to melt down. This recipe can be found in the description or at my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Question of the day. Can you share any tips on how to bulk up on a plant-based diet? I've actually got this question emailed over a lot recently. First of all, thanks a ton for reaching out to me, especially through email. You guys say a lot of kind things, and honestly, I don't know how to control myself when I'm reading them. Maybe I don't say that out loud. What I should be saying is thank you. Seriously, it's really cool whenever you guys reach out, and I'm really happy, so much that I can't stop smiling, as you can see. Or get my words together. Anyway, let me get to answering the question. If you want to gain weight, first start by setting a calorie goal. What I've done in the past is I have Googled a weight gain calculator or a bulking calculator, plug my information in there, and that would give me a goal of where I need to focus. Whatever that number is, I take it and I slice it into how many meals I want to have. So if I'm having 3, I slice it into 3. If I'm having 4, slice it into 4, and so on. I don't eat a whole lot, so I usually go with the route of eating more frequently. So that would be my next tip, is that to fit some meals in, but do a bunch of small ones rather than like a few giant ones. My next tip would be to go heavy nutrient and heavy calorie dense foods. I always give this example that if you do a smoothie on a daily, rather than having the smoothie with almond milk, just swap the milk to something like coconut milk, which is way more calorie dense. This way, it's really low effort for you in order to figure out how can I add more calories, because now all you're really doing is, swapping ingredients out. My next tip is to move as little as possible. If you have kids that you play with often, or you have a dog that you have to walk very often, anything like that, that's all burning calories. So the idea here is, if you happen to do like the treadmill after your workout in order to, keep it toned, you probably don't need to. My last tip would be to build an appetite. For me, that means when I get in the gym, I go 1000%. That really helps me build a huge appetite. Therefore, I'm not feeling as full as fast as I would when I'm not in the gym. I really hope those tips help. And thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me. Until next time, believe in good Peace.